Good afternoon, Amers, and welcome to Deeper Insights. Today we have with us Mark Oliver, the Managing Director of Tigerspike Global. He's here to talk to us about design thinking and how it will take root in the Indian IT and business services as a methodology. Over to you, Mark.
Well, hello everybody, and thank you very much for inviting me to this tiny room in a massive building, and hopefully everybody will listen to the conversation and not stare at the light switches as we go through.
This is not an integration room.
Yeah, it's been a real it's a real privilege to do what we do at this time in this world. We're working in digital design, working in product design. I think it's really important for our business, let alone everybody else who touches digital, which is customer and employee, to really appreciate that it's a profound moment, right? These are really exciting times. So I think it's a real privilege, and I use that word very, very carefully. Maybe a little bit on Tigerspike, I think, just a couple of minutes. So Tigerspike is a global business, and we call ourselves a digital products business. And what that means really for us is that over the 13, 14 years that we've been practicing what we do, we've grown from a foundation of engineering rigor, which allows us to build some pretty good stuff, to really understanding what it means to build experiences. And experiences, and the language of experiences, whether that's customer and increasingly enterprise, which is really important because, let's be clear, when we go to work, we don't want to be using anything less than the experiences we have at home on our customer-facing consumer products, which may well be beautiful. So why do we have to put up with this in enterprise? So that's really special. So our business looks at the whole cycle, the end-to-end cycle, if that's the right phrase to be using it, of walking into a room with stakeholders who have an ambition and a vision, and helping them understand what it will take to have that vision built out and designed, and to really do what it needs to do to achieve the thing that they're striving for. And sometimes that's not easy, and that takes time. So we have this thing called design, right? And these principles and frameworks around design methodologies and design thinking that really helps us pull in more information than any of our customers and any of our clients think that they have. So we moved from this a world of a product called Catalyst, which is a wonderful tool that helps us play with assumptions. Mm-hmm. Assumptions can be really, really powerful, but they can also be really damaging too, right? Which is so we want to help understand assumptions, and that's all about confidence. The more confidence a business has, the more confidence you have in how you want to articulate a digital product, the better the product will be, the easier the product will be to get to market and build through a large complex organization. So we have this thing called design thinking, and design thinking then leads to the practical execution of design, which is something that we're passionate about. And that's really where you start to sell vision, because there is no better tool on earth than a visual to help people understand what it is you're trying to create. And so our language as a business is all about storytelling, and storytelling manifests really in the application of analytics and information against the visualization and the story that comes out to really quickly get where you want to go. Psychologically, that's so powerful. But where Tigerspike is enjoying a lot of success at the moment, and where we're more and more passionate about, is taking these experience definitions and moving them into delivery, and using that historical legacy of engineering rigor and understanding mobility and the power of digital platforms, and building something that people want to use, not need to use. And that's a fundamental statement. And then after we've built these products, what happens after that? It is really prevalent, not just in India, but in all the markets that we've kind of we have a presence and that we're growing into. that there is this this misunderstanding that when a product is built and we've invested all of this energy and time and passion, and we hand it over as a black box to another part of the business who doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And really, the levels of investment and business change that digital products can allow us, and the fun that we can have, really continues after you have got to that handover point.
Yeah.
And we love to consider those challenges as well. So the way that we describe our business is really we do all of that great interaction, and we want the best possible customer experience.
One of the key points that I picked up from your listing was storytelling, and storytelling versus data visualization, because it's something more than visualization, and something that is not generally very associated with the, let's say, analytics or data science industry, right? So can you elaborate a little more on that?
Oh, sure.
The storytelling bit.
Yes, look, I'm passionate about storytelling. I always have been. Historically, I've been connected to, well, let's describe it as Hollywood storytelling, because some of my education is based upon interactions with broadcast and film studies. And so storytelling now is increasingly becoming the message through which people are not selling, right? We're not talking about stories about selling. We're talking about this building visions and change and behaviors and cultures, right? Storytelling is that umbrella that goes across an entire program of work or an entire initiative, underneath which innovation can plug.
Yeah.
New products can plug. And the way that hooks into analytics is really important as well. So we know that there are any number of wonderful tools and smart people who can interpret data that they receive and they can visualize. The thread of being able to build a narrative and use language that expresses it in a way that people understand is really difficult. It's really difficult because the individuals who work in engineering or analytics are, by their very nature, are detail oriented, and by their very nature, creative and design people tends to not be entirely, and by the way I'm waving my hands around, you'll be able to put where I am. So we've done a lot of work on our own platforms, and Intelligence Suite being one of them, on being able to interpret data in a way that creates stories. And I'm really passionate about Hollywood and the way that Hollywood frameworks and its 3 acts and its characters and then its formula that takes you on this roller coaster of an emotional journey, which we kind of all buy into. You will have a favorite film, I have a favorite film. I realized that maps beautifully into the way that we deliver digital products. And it's not often you get to look at something exciting from completely another entertainment world, and then bring it into into technology, really. And so I love archetypes. There's always in a room, you will have, at the start of a new project, you will have an archetype that is a gatekeeper or a threshold guardian, they're described as, who will sit there with their arms folded, and this will not happen because you cannot do that. And the skill of the hero, who may well be the product owner, right? Yeah. The energy, the passion, the skill is to unlock the threshold guardian so that you can step through into another world, right? And that another world is the unknown world of delivering something you've never done before. Because how can you know? And that's really exciting. And the thread, there's this lovely thread of Hollywood structure that really excites me about how quickly it changes people's view of how they're delivering a product. Oh, okay, so we need to get to this threshold. We need to go beyond the threshold where we will experience ordeals. Of course you experience ordeals. There will be enemies, there will be allies.
Just like a Hollywood movie.
Just like a Hollywood movie. And I always refer to the Lord of the Rings as a great example. Gandalf the Grey as the coach or the mentor who gently steers everybody around. We may call that the CEO, right? We may call that somebody else who influences us. there are heroes, right? Our product owner must be a hero. And if you start the project and you do not see that character in the room, your project doesn't have all the right archetypes. The story will not happen. So where is your Frodo Baggins, right? For want of a better expression. So the more that you articulate that, the more you play around with that, the more you smile as you go through product delivery, because you can translate it to a world that energizes you. You feel connected to.
That's very interesting. So now let's get to a few technical questions. How do you think design will add a new dimension and perspective to the businesses in India particularly? And what exactly is it that we're missing here that design can help, design thinking can help?
So I think the way I describe design thinking is the way that I would describe other subject matter expertise around delivery of Scrum, for instance, or Agile, or Prince 2. And what you have are individuals and groups who are passionate about that and will know every single nuance. And when we look at design thinking and business design, which is slightly different, my entry point is about behavior and how important it is design thinking in changing people's behavior and some of the values, right? Without changing the values, like I want to be curious. You can't change a business without being curious and resilient, because you will have to keep working at it. And what I like about vision and what I like about values is that they change behaviors, and behaviors build momentum, and momentum builds change. And really, design thinking is uniquely positioned to start that conversation. And it increasingly, and where India is maturing, and where we think it's really exciting to be here in India, is all around bringing our learnings from other territories about how quickly and effective design thinking can be in changing some of the culture of an organization, whether they like it or not, right? They may not desire change, and that's fine too. Is really the power of design thinking around starting an initiative, starting momentum. That's where I enter, right? And there's a different flavor for those people who get something different from it. The only one binding statement I think around that conversation, particularly, is how important customer experience is and how important employee experience is. Without having that as the foundation of your conversation, then really you're just building another piece of technology.
That's true, and we do tend to stick to, like you said, set patterns, and it's very important to move ahead from that as well. Yeah. So moving on to the next point, what are the principles that can be applied to the journey that businesses undertake when embarking on a digital transformation initiatives? Yeah.
I think my previous answer is kind of actually is accurate for the second one. So just to revisit that, it's so we've been engaged in a whole variety of different global businesses at business change level and transformation. And the consistent message that I take from being right in there with those people, thinking about strategy, is that without curiosity and without vision and without behaviors that will allow you to spread and see change widen, you don't have the right foundation. And that can be achieved really beautifully with tricks and skills and transparency and changing the way that you look at problems, right? There's nothing more empowering for me, nothing more exciting than walking into a room with a blank wall and with a customer that has a challenge and they don't know how to get there. Brilliant. Some people, that would be the worst day ever. But our business has to be energized by problem solving.
True. And Can you again tell me about the assumption part? You mentioned it in your opening speech, how assumption is really important as well as it can be disastrous as well. So can you elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah, we've had a lovely experience with a product called or a framework rather called Catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were finding was that we would there are a number of ways that you can draw requirements,
mm-hmm.
or that you can talk about what a customer wants and why they want it. And these may be called discovery workshops, or they may be, there's a number of different ways that you can explore new thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And what we felt was missing was a level of confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
A level of confidence about taking the right direction. You can practically answer questions, but those questions, without knowing the journey, without knowing the story, which comes next within that framework, without knowing what you're missing, you tend to fill gaps with assumptions. And we assume that we can build out these APIs. We assume that the customer wants this product, right? And we assume that users will use it in this way. We assume that the technology stack that we support is appropriate. You can't build the product or design the product from those assumptions.
Yeah.
And so Catalyst, that enables us to work with customers
mm-hmm.
to really draw those assumptions and say, this is how we're going to answer that assumption. Without answering that assumption or solving that assumption, we should not be proceeding.
Yeah, we should not go forward. Yeah.
And really, what you're building is this relationship with fear, with doubt. And what we want to do is take that all away. And Catalyst does that really, really well in a way that conventional frameworks or current standards don't really allow you to do. Especially when your projects may be multi-million-dollar investments. Why not start from a position where you feel confident?
So more like a clean slate, like you said, a problem which has no, and that's the most exciting part, right?
Quite, yeah. What we want to see at the end of that process is the IT director having their assumptions answered to the point where they feel confident. The design director, exactly. The user experience, customer experience team has all of their answers at least discussed and assumptions kind of answered. Then when you have confidence from the entire group, there is no way that you cannot make this work, right?
Sure. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think, like people, data scientists and analysts in India are growing by thousands every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So what is one piece of advice, or let's say 3 pieces of advice you can give to them so that they can understand you just don't have to just follow one single path and the same trodden path. So what are the any tips for our readers and viewers?
No.
No?
Oh yes, I mean yes. There's only one, and there's one that I feel really again I express with great passion and respect, which is every time I speak to somebody who wants to join our business
mm-hmm.
or who has ambitions to be somewhere with a career, I ask, what are your personal values? And if your personal values are curiosity, empathy, resilience, or others, at least knowing that forms the cornerstone of how you want to manage, of what you want from your career, and how you want to engage with technology, and how you want to deal with problems.
But isn't this like a really wide sort of a benchmark, like creativity, empathy, and this thing? Can you narrow it down a little bit for our specific field, for your specific field?
A very good question. I don't think I want to, actually, because I do think it's actually very, very narrow.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask a specific question, just to narrow it down, I think you're right to ask me that question. What are your 5 values? And once you understand that, your personal confidence the way that you express and the way that you learn is really, really clear. And so it will direct you on where you want to enter market. All right. So it feels like it's a big statement, and my arms go wide because I'm very expressive. I'm an extrovert by nature. But what I believe, until you have that fundamental knowledge, you can't really express what it is that you want from your career. I've always found resilience actually to be really important. Resilience is that you may just stumble, or you may make decisions that you would change if you could. And I find that in my professional experience, resilience has been the most valuable asset to my career. Curiosity is that thing that unlocks new opportunity. From a technical standpoint, it's really important to look at organizations, or to be inspired by organizations or influencers that you want to connect with. And so feeling like you're inspired by working in a particular business is just a beautiful connection, and you can only succeed, you can only grow from that quarter. I've been really lucky, again, personal experience, and I will look to our team to also back that up, which is at our business in Tigerspike, we've been really lucky, I think, to create an environment or a culture where people are inspired to be there, right? And I feel like, as I started this conversation, right, it's a real privilege, I think, to be doing what we're doing in the way that we're doing it, and to feel like we're influencing. I would say that being able to find organizations and find inspiration from where you work will just open up a whole world of opportunities, I think.
You said lucky, is that an assumption?
Oh, I'm being tested on my own language. I like it. See how you changed your thinking?
Yes, I have.
Assumptions,
Yes, I have.
right? Yeah, very good.
Yes. Okay. So thanks, folks. And once again, say thanks to Mark Oliver, and we will again chat soon. Thanks.